This is the third and last video about my snow leopard expedition to Ladakh in the winter of 2021. In the first part, I spoke about my arrival at Leh and the time we spent looking for wildlife near Upshi. In the second part, I described life in Ule, the village where the snow leopard lodge is located. For links to the first two parts, see the description below. When I signed up for the snow leopard expedition, I knew that the quest for this elusive animal was not going to be easy. In the past, wildlife enthusiasts had to trek for long distances and camp in the harsh outdoors to see and photograph the snow leopard. Thanks to the efforts of locals who know this region the best, numerous homestays have come up to cater to outsiders from both India and abroad. But staying for a few days here does not guarantee a snow leopard sighting. Apparently, there are only about 400 to 600 snow leopards in Ladakh, which has an area of around 60,000 square kilometers. So, the phrase looking for a needle in a haystack is applicable here. Guests are dependent on the expertise of the trackers to show them the presence of wildlife. Our eyes are not trained to differentiate between rock and animal, and our bodies are busy coping with the sub-zero temperatures and the high altitude. Spotting a wild animal is possible only because of the sheer dedication of the trackers, so every sighting is a reason to celebrate. On this trip, I was using a Sony 200 to 600 mm lens mounted on a 1.4x crop camera body, giving me an effective focal length of around 900 mm. This was not always enough to capture the wild animals that are sensitive to human presence. On many days, the heat and snow haze near the ground level would destroy the sharpness of images shot with such a large focal length. Capturing video footage had additional challenges. Even a mild breeze was enough to disturb the recording. So we have come to the highest point of the village Ule. That house is the last house and it's pretty high above the actual village. Our expert tracker spotted a lone ibex walking on that mountain slope, and he predicted that the ibex would come up somewhere there. So we were waiting here to capture the ibex as he would come here, but then the smart fellow went a little higher up and then disappeared behind this mountain. I guess the ibex spotted us even before we spotted him. So we did capture some footage, but it would have been better if the ibex was much closer as the tracker had predicted. It had been 2 days in Ule and we hadn't seen a snow leopard yet. Would the 14th of December, which happens to be my birthday, be our lucky day? It's a cold morning. It's been overcast since last evening and there's snowfall at those distant mountain peaks. Until today, our luck has been limited to seeing the ibex, the urial, a red fox, and the local birds. We're heading out on an all-day trip today, and hopefully today will be the day we catch the elusive snow leopard. Hemis Shukpachan in the Sham Valley is a village larger than Ule. The drive to get there is through a mountain pass with spectacular views. We stopped to look for wildlife, but in spite of having the best trackers with us, we did not see wolves on this trip. Fresh pug marks indicated that we had just missed them, and they are commonly seen outside Ule. While Ule is rustic and surrounded by close mountains, Hemis Shukpachan is very scenic and set amidst a rich forest of cedar trees. A huge Buddha statue gazes at snow-clad mountains, reminding us of how Buddhism is the popular faith in Ladakh. The first half of the day did not yield any wildlife sighting. After lunch, we were casually strolling near the most sacred part of the village, which is a juniper grove. According to the villagers, these juniper trees have been around for many hundred years. The others from our team were with the trackers who were scanning the mountain slopes since morning. And that is when the radio crackled. Our driver immediately indicated that the trackers had spotted a snow leopard from a location just outside the village. Hearts racing, we rushed into the car and quickly drove to the spot. It is difficult to describe how excited all of us were. The snow leopard was on a distant hill resting.
Oh, it's behind us.
They are solitary hunters and attack only at dawn and dusk. When I looked through the spotting scope at first, I was expecting to see a large white cat.
Where is it?
To the telescope.
My mental image of the snow leopard was completely wrong. After looking carefully, I saw a tiny animal curled up and asleep. We moved to a different location for a better view.
Go all the way up. And then knob there to next to the edge. There's no end. Oh my god!
Nothing can beat the excitement of watching a wild predator in its natural surroundings. We spent around 3 hours waiting for the snow leopard to make its next move. The temperature was dropping with every passing moment, and we were getting very uncomfortable standing in the open. The snow leopard disappeared from the hilltop but showed up again at a lower altitude. A dozen or so Urials were grazing nearby, and we were closely watching the snow leopard, waiting for it to attack. They generally hunt a large animal every 8 to 10 days and take 3 to 4 days to consume their prey. But this snow leopard chose to sit patiently like the Buddha and watch the Urials.
Walking, coming down.
Oh, it's back again. How many times does it see?
Look at it. Look at its tail. It's as long as the body.
As it was getting dark, we packed up for the day and left Hemis Shukpachan. One of the trackers stayed behind in case the hunt happened after we left.
Somebody shut off the wind.
It's rolling. It's rolling. It's rolling down with me.
After yesterday's thrilling view of the snow leopard, we are back at Hemis, Shukpachan, which is a village about 45 minutes from Ule. It's in a valley. We've come to a pass above the village to scan for the same snow leopard that we saw yesterday. As for a different snow leopard, we saw one this morning right near Ule, but the snow leopard crossed the ridge and went over to the other side. So before coming here, we actually drove around the mountain to see if we can spot it from the other side of the ridge that it jumped onto. We couldn't find it, so now we are here, and this place is stunning because we have like a great view of the mountains all around us, and the contrast between the different mountain peaks and the mountain slopes is just mind-boggling. Some of the mountain peaks have jagged rocks, some are smooth. There's one mountain which is pink in color, and of course you can see snow-clad peaks at a distance. We did not have any more sightings of the snow leopard for the rest of the trip, but the experience of looking for one is something I will never forget. I couldn't have asked for a more intense experience on my first visit to Ladakh, a cold desert inhabited by people with the warmest of hearts. We left Ule and returned to Leh on the 16th. To make my return to Bangalore less abrupt, I had planned a day trip to local monasteries and a special place, Dhomkar, which is a location with prehistoric rock art. More on that in a later video. For now, thanks for watching my winter Ladakh videos.
And all the snow leopards are gathering around for the Bukhari.
Come, let's cut it together.
Blow the candles.
And we go.
Happy birthday to